Today, we are using these plastic Halloween yard fence and turning them into lanterns. Get your shear cutters and cut off the stakes at the bottom of the fence. Use the shears to cut the hooks that are on the sides of the fence. You are going to be cutting each section off, so try to cut as straight as possible. You will need a total of 4 pumpkins that are cut up into squares to create the lantern, so you will need a total of 2 fences. But you will only have to cut off one of the pumpkins off from the other fence. First, you will need a piece of wood that is already squared. I got this one from Walmart last year on clearance. It was 65 cents. As you can tell, I have already used a piece of the wood for another project. The measurements are going to depend on how big the fences are and how big you decide to cut the squares off. The height was 7.5 inches and the width was 7 inches. You are going to need some garden stakes. 2 of them are going to be cut into 7.5 inches and the other 2 will be cut 7 inches to form the base. I am putting the stakes onto the wood to form the base, and then taking one of the pumpkins to measure to be sure that it is the right size. As you can tell, I need to cut just a little tiny bit off on the side. You will need some wood glue to glue down the stakes onto the wood. For this project, I will be using Gorilla Glue. In order for the glue to stick to the wood, I am going to staple the stake to the wood. This would also provide better support. I will be doing this for all 4 sides. Now that the base is done for the lantern, it's time to paint the base with the charcoal black. We are now going to use small screws to screw one of the pumpkins onto the side of the stake. The lantern is finished, and now you have a pumpkin lantern. Get some lights and place them inside the lantern. And you are ready to place the lantern outside or inside. The choice is yours. We are going to be making another lantern, but this time with skulls. As you can tell, I have already cut up the fence into the 4 sections that we need to create the lantern. What we are going to do to these skulls is a little different this time around. You are going to need a wood burner to cut the eyes and nose out. As in the previous video showed you how to create the base. Now once again we are going to make the base again for this lantern. For this lantern, building the base is a little different than the previous lantern. Going to use screws to screw the skull fence onto the wood stake first before actually gluing and then stapling onto the wood. Then repeat the steps until you have all the skull's fences in place. On this skull, it needed to be cut, so it could fit accurately with the other skull fences. Using zip ties to secure each fence together, so the lantern can be as tight as possible and won't be all wobbly. What's left to do is paint the base with charcoal black. Be careful when painting and don't get paint on the skulls. Use the shears to cut each spider apart so you have 3 sections. Now that we have the 3 sections, let's form the lantern. This lantern is going to be a triangle lantern because I only got one of the fences and not 2. The base has already been completed. We are going to use 2 of the stakes to form the triangle and to keep the fences in place. Grab your ruler and measure how long the stake needs to be. So the stake can be the same size as the fence. There was already a stake the right size, so the only thing I had to do was to cut another one the same size. Then grab your screws and drill, and screw the fence into the stake to form the fence. Then repeat this step again for the other side. Now add some Gorilla Glue to the bottom of the stake, and place it onto the base and again toe the other side. Using zip ties to hold the lantern together for better support. Now that the lantern is secured and in place, we are going to style it up by adding moss first to the lantern. Add some hot glue all over the stake using your glue gun. Once you're done, repeat the step for the other side of the lantern. Next, we are adding berries to the lantern. Be careful not to burn yourself when using the glue gun. More berries being placed onto the lantern. How about adding some fake blood to the lantern? Spray the fake blood as much or as little as you want. How about throwing some flowers into the mix? Video of the spider lantern with lights. All 3 lanterns with lights. Which lantern is your favorite? FYI when the word steak comes up in the video. This is the wood I use from the 99-cent store to create the base, in case someone had questions about it.